Hey YouTube, it's Grace, and this week I'm doing something a little bit different. I've been finding so many 4-leaf clovers lately because I saw a TikTok last summer showing how easy it is to find them. But I was thinking I wanted to do something creative with them, and so I thought it would be really cool to preserve them, like press them, and then turn them into little pendants for jewelry. So I wanted to take you along with me and show you my process of learning to do that. So step one is actually finding the clovers. I've already found quite a few of them in my yard at my house, but I feel like I found too many there and I don't want to deplete my 4-leaf clover source, so I'm going to go for a walk on the bike trail in my town and see how many I can find there. Firstly, I have completely coated myself in sunscreen because it is very sunny today and I'm still a bit pale. And with me, I am bringing a little notebook thingy and sticky notes because the best way to press clovers, based on what the research I've done, is putting them in between paper so that it can absorb the moisture and then they can actually press and be dry. And then I'm going to be keeping them in this little notebook. That way they don't wilt or bend, because I need some place to store them while I'm walking. My starting time is just after 1 p.m. I think it's like 1:07 or something. So I'll let you know how many minutes it takes me to find my first one. It's been 5 minutes and I've already found my first one. It's kind of tattered, but you know, it's okay. The tips that I remember from seeing in the TikTok last year were to search in each like clover patch for just a few minutes. And if you don't see one, then the patch probably doesn't have the gene for 4-leaf clovers. But if you do find one in the first few minutes, then you have a higher chance of finding more in that same patch because it like has the gene or whatever. But make sure that when you're looking in the patches that they're not connected to each other, that they're like separate, if that makes sense. This one took a lot longer to find, but I found another one. I just found a second one in the same patch literally a minute later. I'm gonna stay here for a second. I've been searching in the shade for a bit since I'm afraid of my phone overheating. You see this? It's like so perfect, except someone took a bite out of it. Okay, I just found another one in the same patch, and it's weird because the 4th leaf is like in a different location than the other 3, but it's still kind of cool. I hope I don't end up with like a trillion bug bites from this. I just randomly looked down while walking and I found another one. The exact same thing just happened again. I was walking and just happened to look down and looked right at this one. Oh my goodness, my luck today. Okay, this is the best patch ever. Literally 5 seconds after I recorded that last clip, I found 4 more. This clover patch is just the gift that keeps giving. I think I've probably found a dozen from it, and my notebook is getting so full. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna finish my walk and then we're gonna go home, count everything up, and go from there. Okay, I made it home. Here are the stats from my walk, but I found all the clovers in the first like 0.8 miles, I think. Now, I do have some older ones that have been pressed for longer, but the way that I organize them is I put them in between my old high school yearbooks, and then I put the date like 1 week after I found them because that's when they're gonna be dry. Like this one I found yesterday, it'll be ready on the 26th, but look how big it is. And then here's some other ones I found yesterday. I'm kind of in a 4-leaf clover phase right now, if you can't tell. Okay, I now have all of them being pressed, waiting for next week, so now we wait. Okay, it's been a week since that last clip and my clovers have been pressing the whole time, so I'm going to try to use resin to preserve them today. This is the mold that I got, which I tried to test it out, which you're probably wondering, why are there like chunks missing from it? That's because I terribly messed up. In fact, I was so stupid and naive to think that the instructions on the box were the same as the instructions in the box. No, they're not the same. So I ended up wasting a 6-leaf clover, which is a little bit sad. But anyway, I have my resin and hardener warming up in cups of warm water because apparently that's a thing that people do. I have 3 little cups and I have 3 stir sticks. Let's do this. I did not realize I found this many. Oh my gosh. I just selected the 4 that I'm gonna use and cut the stems off of them. It said that it like works best at 75 degrees, but like I'm not sticking a thermometer in here. It would get ruined. So we're just gonna like, I don't know, guess. That looks pretty dang close, so I'm calling it good. I'm gonna go ahead and pour just a little bit of this and then situate this guy in there. I did clean out this mold before I did anything with it. Gonna lightly move this around and pour some more on top. I really hope this works this time around. I just cleaned off the table and I moved the resin thingies to my room. So I'm just gonna let them sit and dry and hope that it works this time around. Okay, so good news and bad news. I'm gonna start with the bad news. This is a complete fail. I poured this resin on Monday. It's now Friday night and it still has not hardened whatsoever. I followed the instructions as best I could. And I also learned something. Apparently when you're using epoxy resin, you're supposed to wear a respirator and you're supposed to wear gloves. I've just been breathing this in for like a week in my room. And the instructions said nothing about that. So I'm just going to throw this away because I've tried 2 different times now and I just can't do it or something's wrong. So I'm giving up and I'm going to get UV resin. So goodbye. Good riddance. The good news is that I just graduated college and my godfather sent me an Amazon gift card so I can get some UV resin kit stuff without absolutely killing my bank account. So not all is lost. I am kind of sad about all of these 4-leaf clovers going to waste though. I will update you once I have new supplies. Hey guys, I actually have some good news. This project. My UV resin kit came in the mail yesterday and I tested it out and it works. I did a couple different test ones. The first one I made kind of had weird edges, but I did 2 other ones and I think they turned out so good. The internet says I need to let these dry for at least a week and they've been drying for over 2 weeks at this point, so I'm safe to assume that they're like completely ready to be resinated. I don't know. So I'm going to show you how I finally got to this point of having success with this project. And in case you were wondering, I have my window open for ventilation and I have a little air purifier. So I don't know if I actually need to like wear a respirator for this. I don't have the correct one if I do. So we're just gonna hope that the airflow is enough. This is the little kit that I got. It's called Let's Resin. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out from yesterday. And I'm hoping that this is a good camera angle because it's pretty much the best I've got. I'm gonna be using one of the circular molds because I really like how this one turned out better than the square one. I just think the edges are a lot smoother. I'm gonna go ahead and add a thin layer of my resin. And I don't know why there's tiny little bubbles in here, but you know, I'm new to this, so cut me some slack. Next, I'm going to find a clover. Can I make this fit? I think I can. I just cut off the stem and I'm using a tweezers to lay it in here. Put some more of this in here. We are fully submerged. I think it's ready to cure. I'm going to put this thing over it, which I just have plugged into a little phone charger. And I'm gonna cure it for 90 seconds. My light just turned off, so I'm gonna move it out of the way. I'm gonna flip it over and cure it on this side, which it said you need that for translucent molds, but not transparent molds. And now that this is done, I'm just going to flip it over and let it cool for a bit, and then we'll pop it out of the mold. When I was testing this out yesterday, I was actually in awe of how much faster and easier this is than epoxy resin. And I was just wondering, like, why didn't I do that to begin with? But here's how it looks. Now, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to do one more, which I think I'm gonna do a 5-leaf clover. You can see that the 5th leaf is smaller, but it's definitely there. I'm going to cut off the stem, pour in some resin. Let's put this clover in here. That bubble is way too big. Get out of here. There. Just cured the front for 90 seconds and the back for 60 and then let it cool for a bit. And here's how it turned out. Oh, I'm in love with these. These are so cool. So in total, I ended up with this many. Now here comes the fun part and the easy part of putting everything together. I'm gonna need 2 pairs of pliers, some jewelry chain. Wait, I lied. 3rd pliers, these little thingies, and I think I also want to try a keychain. So I'm going to start by taking out my ruler and measuring out a 18-inch chain, I think. Just going to cut this. Then I'm going to take these. I honestly don't remember what these are called. Jump rings, I think. I'm gonna hold this in one pliers and open it with the other. Then I'm going to take one of my little Clover charms and loop it on there. Actually, I might have done this in the wrong order. I'm gonna put this to the side for a second because I also need some smaller jump rings to put on the necklace. I'm going to take one of the smaller jump rings, open it up, and then put one half of the chain on here. I'm sorry if you can't see super well or if my hands are in the way. And then put the lobster clasp on. I think that's what it's technically called. Close that bad boy up. Now I'm going to close this chain just like that. Go back to my Clover charm and then loop this through. And it should be done now. Here it is. I did a poll on my Instagram yesterday asking people like if they'd be interested if I put these on Etsy, because my content does not revolve around jewelry making really anymore, so I just kind of wanted to gauge people's interest. Like 75% of people said that they'd think it was cool, so I think I'm gonna do it if all goes well. What do we think? This is so cute. Oh my gosh. So this is how it looks up close. I think next I'm gonna try to make a keychain. I'm gonna get a large jump ring, open it up, put my Clover charm on here, and actually I'm gonna stick one of these on here while I'm at it. Then I'm going to connect these, then I'm gonna connect it to the big one. And bam, 4-leaf clover keychain. Here's how everything looks together. By the time you're watching this video, I'm probably gonna have some of these up on Etsy, so if you're interested in checking them out, my Etsy is right here. I'll also have it linked in the description. I think that this project ended up being a success. I definitely have a lot to learn, but I'm so glad that I tried out this idea because it was fun, even though it was kind of difficult to get to the point where I knew what I was doing. That is the beauty in trying new things. But anyway, that is it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully see you in my next one. Bye!